Old Roblox? The age-old question. Was it actually better back in the day? Now, I know this topic has been done to death by this point by other people, but I've been playing for quite a while and I thought I'd like to give my opinion on the matter. We're also going to be introducing a couple other old players later on in the video, which will also share their opinion on the matter. It's going to be quite a cool video, I think. We're going to go over all the normal stuff, like the community, is it better now versus old Roblox, the catalog, events, new versus old games, and something that I'd like to call the middle era of Roblox, which was, I'd say, 2012 to 2015 or so. I don't see as much people talk about that middle ground. Everybody always goes way back, like 2008 versus now. Of course, new Roblox is better, so I'm going to go a bit more in-depth than other videos. I'm sure some people have done that, but hope you stick around. It's going to be an interesting video. You can skip to different parts with the timestamps below if you find a part that's interesting to you. Pardon me. And I hope you enjoy. And stick around. The thing I'm going to bring up first is middle era Roblox. It's something I don't see brought up too much when people discuss is old Roblox better. What people normally do is when I think of old Roblox, they'll go straight back to like 2008 or something. But I'm also going to be discussing in this video the middle ground, which is like 2014, 2015. We'll also be discussing like the actual old Roblox, but I don't see too much people actually talk about this middle ground. Where a point where the game was actually like, it wasn't too boring to play. Because I understand, like, people like Kaneko Kitten have said, if you go back too far, yes, the games are quite boring. Like, this game right here. I couldn't honestly see myself playing this for any more than like 10 minutes. But if we go back to 2013, which was like 8-9 years ago at this point, there are many games out there that are still very playable in my opinion. So we're going to be discussing this first. Games like even hide and seek, our group does game nights at this place regularly. So these games are still very playable in my opinion. Let's discuss old games versus new games. And when I say old games, I'm mostly going to be talking about the middle era in this video. To a lot of new players, this middle era of 2012 to 2015 probably is going to be still old Roblox to you. I guess it really depends when you joined. The argument here is that these old games are quite boring. This should be a fairly easy thing to discuss. If we compare like old games like Don't Blink, Death Run, Whatever Floats Your Boat, A Pirate's Life, and a myriad of other ones, I do believe all these games are still quite playable. It's only when you go too far back in time that these games become quite boring, as I mentioned, like the old Tycoon games. They're all broken, and a whole bunch of other old games. That's just Roblox updates, and generally they are just quite boring. I will agree with the majority of people on that. I couldn't go back to a game like that and play it. But comparing the games I just mentioned, I'll put up all on screen, I do believe they still hold up quite well. So this is fairly easy to go over. New games are obviously better, much better systems, new tech, and the client. I do believe these old ones do still quite hold up, in my opinion. Once again, new games are still vastly better, but I could easily go back and play these old games. Maybe new players could too, who knows. To dive into something which is going to be quite unoriginal once again in this topic of this explaining old versus new, it's going to be events. I do believe one area where the middle era vastly blows modern Roblox out of the water is events. You compare events like Hallows Eve 2013, egg hunts, that's unoriginal as well, but it's true, egg hunts. You compare these with modern events. It doesn't even have to be modern. Even modern events like the 2017 and 2018 egg hunts, those were great. There were still great modern events. I'm talking very recently. These events where you have to buy things in them. There's very little prizes. Some events, sure, might still be prizes. But I do believe, I'm pretty sure everyone can agree, one area where old/middle era Roblox is vastly better is events. I don't want to have to buy something with Robux for an event. Maybe if it's like an add-on that helps me with the event, sure. Events have done that before. Egg hunts, like the egg dar and everything. I'll buy that to help me find more eggs, more hats. But for an event to have no prizes? That's idiotic. Like the Logitech event, don't even get me started on that one. That one was stupid. It was interesting to wear a webcam as a hat, but like, there's no prizes. And once again, I am aware that some events still do have hats that as prizes. But I do believe these older events blow modern Roblox out of the water. I don't know what has happened in events. Roblox is a multi-billion-dollar corporation at this point. Is it really that hard to make it a good event? And I know some people might say this is just a sign of the times changing, but how? Make a good event for the people, where they can get cool hats. Let's look back at like the gift explosion events, where you would have to complete certain things to get these gift hats, like maybe having a certain amount of friends, or a certain amount of badges in a game, where they would link the IDs in the description and you'd have to go out and find them. Those were fun. They did those every year up until like, I'll put it up on screen, but where's that gone? Even the Halloween gifts, those were something you'd have to buy, but at least you would still get the hat. A cool Halloween hat. I don't know. But once again, old/middle era Roblox does this quite well. And this whole video isn't just going to be me talking about the older Roblox being better, because it's not overall. But this is one area where old blows new out of the water, in my opinion. Where modern Roblox does actually blow old Roblox out of the water, and also middle era Roblox, is in terms of tech, the client, lighting, shadows, everything like that. The look of Roblox in-game overall is vastly better than anything old Roblox had. When you say the charm of old Roblox, I will agree that is nostalgia. Because if you compare these two images, what one looks better? The old one does look nice, but that's charm and probably nostalgia as well. When you're comparing these two, the tech of the modern client does still vastly blow old Roblox away. The lighting, the sun rays, it's beautiful in modern Roblox. The terrain is also quite well. I do miss the old voxel terrain. I wish they would have kept both, but what are you going to do? One area where new Roblox definitely wins is in terms of tech. Even in terms of the site and everything. New Roblox does win here. Now we're going to move in towards the community part of the debate, which is an area where people fixate way too much. How they always go, the old Roblox community was so much better. There was no online daters. Which I heavily disagree with, because if you look at old games like these old city games, the complex games, these games have always existed, at least since 2009 and upwards. The old Roblox community wasn't anywhere better than new Roblox. Actually, they're probably both the same, because new Roblox still has online daters everywhere. Everybody knows that. Hop into a game of like Adopt Me and you'll see them everywhere. It's just new games, same online daters. And then of course there's Slenders, which people hate way too much on, I guess. I don't personally like Slenders, but it's just same old crappy people with a different outfit, so whatever. Old Roblox community, was it better? In some parts, yes. Maybe the clanning community, it was way better, it was less exploiting, but overall the community is largely maybe a little worse nowadays, but that's to be expected with so much more people. In a community with millions upon millions of people joining, it's going to get worse, obviously, so new Roblox, slightly worse maybe, but people fixate way too much on old Roblox community being better. It wasn't. I think Roblox is vastly improved nowadays is in terms of people exploiting. I did mention previously how certain communities have exploiting much worse nowadays, but that's only certain communities. I do believe in the vast majority of things that exploiting has been greatly reduced overall. That's one area where Roblox has certainly got better, mainly through FE, filtering enabled, which is a security precaution games use nowadays. Yes, it has ruined many old games, but people can no longer run things like B-tool exploits and all that. Sure, you'll still see the odd person like using an exploit, maybe speed hacking through jailbreak or something, but when I generally go into front page games, when I rarely do it, but when I do it anyways, I rarely see people hacking. It's been quite a while since I've seen somebody hacking on a front page game. A lot of these games also have their own security systems that'll take over. Even the clanning community tries to do that. It just, DDoSing can't really be protected against with an anti-exploit. But modern Roblox, with filter enabled and all these other precautions, I'm sure there's many others that I don't know the name of, yes, vastly better. Much better than old Roblox here. One area where modern Roblox has also taken a giant leap is in terms of the catalog, which they call the avatar shop now or whatever, but I'm just going to call it the catalog because that's what it should be called. UGC, It's a great update. People do abuse it sometimes. Game makers mainly. Adopt Me is like, how they're releasing things in game, which show up on the UGC platform. Some people were kind of off about that, but overall, I do think UGC is great. The old catalog was also quite nostalgic. If you're an old player and you look at this, like an old classical sale, I do believe they should bring back these awesome sales that they used to have. Those were great, like the midnight sales, the 4th of July sales, or whatever. They should bring those back. Those were quite nostalgic. I do believe there's no reason really not to bring them back. Were they really nostalgic? It's just a sale. Everybody likes sales. But overall, vastly better nowadays. UGC is quite cool. Even clanning groups, which I'm in, are making UGC hats. I love it. So, catalog, much better nowadays. The quality might not be as good because of how much more hats they're releasing. Obviously, if you release a smaller amount of hats, quality is going to be better, but there's still some great hats coming out. I love it. I'm going to be talking about is features overall on Roblox. There's been many over the site's history, like personal building servers, VIP servers, the feed. This is so much I can't really even remember them all. I do believe many of the modern features are quite good that have been released over the years. Like VIP servers, when can you remember a time without them? They're very, very helpful for like game nights and everything. But VIP servers replaced personal building servers, which I do believe they should have stayed. Like imagine like a modern YouTuber like Flamingo or someone having a giant personal building servers. Sure, it could be griefed, but there could be safeguards against that. I do believe they should have kept those. Those were fun back in the day. And some people call them like Minecraft ripoffs, which I disagree with. I don't think they look like Minecraft at all. But I do believe those should have stayed. It's a shame how they didn't, but VIP servers are quite good. We all know what they are. I don't really need to explain. Very helpful. Other things like the feed, I do believe should have also stayed. That used to be front and center when you logged into Roblox. It'd be awesome to see what you had just waiting for you when you logged in. Like shouts from groups or friends' bios. That eventually got just neglected to the side of your profile until very, very recently got removed. And there's other features like premium payouts. Very helpful for developers. I'm sure they're getting many, many Robux from that. The extremely revamped trading section. That was the same forever. That's nice to get a refresh. Autocomplete is also something quite nice. It's for more lazy people, I guess, but that's something I believe Roblox should have had for a long time beforehand. Look up something like V, and Vehicle Simulator comes up. That's what I like to play. So, another great feature. Overall, there's a lot of features I wish they could have kept, but in terms of modern features, modern Roblox I do believe is better. Next up is going to be moderation overall on the platform. Now, I'm going to keep this one short because I'm sure we all know where this one's heading. Modern moderation is horrible. Back in the day, it was but nowadays you can get banned for something simple as saying like gay or like LGBT or something even a smaller offense than that. They aren't even offenses. It's just the horrible automation. They'll try to say that there's people running the moderation team behind the scenes, but it's not. It's all automated computers. It thinks you say something bad and then it just bans your account. It's horrible. It's very horrible. Much worse than old Roblox in my opinion. But that's to be expected, I guess. Millions of people, you can't really do that without automation, but the automation systems and moderation are horrible. Very bad. And final thing I'm going to say before I give my conclusion is the direction the platform overall is going into the future now. This is largely going to be just me talking about modern Roblox. Roblox is pushing for realism. Nobody can really debate that. The Anthro, these modern packages they're coming out with, I think they call them bundles now, but you get the point. I don't really agree with the way they're going or how they're handling things corporate-wise. Let's take a look at like the anniversary video they released where they go about the history of Roblox. It's just them talking about art, Anthro. That made people really mad. That was stupid that they did that. Like you make a video celebrating Roblox and its history, and you just show a whole bunch of people dancing around with the Anthro package. Or Arthro, Anthro, whatever. I'll call it Arthur. I think it's Arthur. The realism is okay, but just don't bury the old packages. It's sad how it's being buried, and I don't think it's gonna last any more than like 10 years. Because Roblox isn't gonna go away anytime soon. It's not like it's gonna die in 10 years. It's gaining millions and millions of people every month. It's not gonna die. So I do believe we're gonna see the classical characters eventually removed. It's not gonna happen for a while. It's not gonna happen for a very long time because they know the outrage they're gonna get. But within 5 years, 10 years, once all these old players are gone, why wouldn't they just go Arthur only? I called it Arthur at the beginning. I'm smart. But I disagree with the direction they're going overall. I believe the site's much more boring. The tech is good. I mentioned that earlier. The lighting, the shadows, the game is much more beautiful. They should just simply keep the blocky characters. This is the main thing I have as a complaint. I don't have much more complaints about modern Roblox other than Arthur. And that's probably going to be quite unoriginal. But we see how much people disagree with Arthur with that anniversary video. Sure, leave it as something on the side, which is what they're doing right now, which is fine. But just don't bury the old stuff. And this is simply my opinion on the direction they're taking. I could be completely wrong, and I'm going to be quite happy if I'm wrong. But I do believe within 5 years, we're going to see the blocky type characters go completely away. Or at least in terms of R6. And when they remove R6, all hell is going to break loose, but we'll just have to see. And if I look back on this video in 5 years, if I'm still here, and I'm wrong, then I'll be quite happy. So, if you're here watching 5 years from now, and I was wrong, and the blocky characters are still here, R6 is still there, then hell yeah, I'm glad. We'll just have to see. This is my opinion where the direction they're taking. Realism. No more blockiness. Maybe they'll change the site name to Metablocks, who knows. Before I give my conclusion at the end of the video, I'd like to turn this over now to one of my friends, which has been playing since around 2011 or a little bit before. He's much more... He's played longer than me, a little bit. I joined around 2012 or so maybe a year or two longer, so enjoy what he has to say, and then my conclusion will play at the end. Thank you for listening.
I think I'll start with the good. Scripting has definitely improved. They've added in this autocomplete feature, which is very much like IntelliSense and Visual Studio. They've also added modules, which allow you to break up scripts into smaller parts that just in general allows you to organize and also read new scripts a lot more efficiently than you used to. They've added in filtering enabled, which stops the players from interacting with the server scripts in the way that they used to, so that they are no longer really able to abuse those scripts for their own benefit, like giving themselves $1 million or something weird like that. They've added in this new lighting system, which is gorgeous. It allows you to have light sources that move around, that affect the world lighting. But compared to the old system, it's just so significantly better. It's just astounding. You used to only be able to set a ambient lighting value, and that would affect the whole level. So if you had a mountain and you were walking around it, you could make it all bright and pretty and whatnot. But if you were to go in a cave, it would still be that same bright ambient lighting, which doesn't really make sense. Now, you could get around this by just changing the value of the ambient lighting whenever you went into the cave. But if you just turned around, you'd see it's now dark outside, and you'd have to find some weird way, like, I know that old games used to have, like, parts that looked like shadows, and you could walk into those shadows, you know? But it's kind of obvious with that kind of barrier. And with the new system, it just lights it with shadows, so it's dark in there naturally without this weird artificial system. And if you were to bring a torch into there, it would light it up naturally. Now, for the bad, Roblox, the company, is trash. It's just hostile to its users. It's hard to say you're a consumer-friendly company when you sue a user for several $1 million. It's ridiculous. They've also just failed to develop a competent website. It's designed to hide anything that's worth paying attention to. They moved the feed away from the homepage, which is something I will never understand. And that really took away a lot of the value of groups in the way that they used to have. Because you used to have groups to communicate with each other. And with removing that feed away from the main page, you really lose that sense of community that groups gave you. As for the ugly, the community has not changed. It's gotten bigger, but it hasn't changed. Online daters were just a menace when I joined, and they still are. And with how many people there are, you're bound to find a group that you'll fit into if you just give it time. That's all it does.
Hi everyone, I'm Bigmacmeal. I've been on this website for like 2009. What I think about old Roblox versus new Roblox is that I think people may find a liking to old Roblox due to the genuine community, or maybe they weren't there at that point in time, or possibly they're in just a simpler point of life. Didn't have to really deal with responsibilities or harsh realities of life. As I said about genuine community, I felt like stuff back then wasn't really done with the interest of money. Well, also with Roblox, right? The events back then weren't really for money. I mean, I guess it did generate them some money, but they didn't really. We're trying to find a way to cut down on costs and stuff as a genuine business. But I feel like modern Roblox has had its lighting and graphics and other fundamentals that have improved, and I really do enjoy. Now there's more space to really do stuff and, quote unquote, powering imagination. With old Roblox, genuine community, as I stated, old Roblox, I don't know, sort of going back to that thing where people were more attached because, maybe it's a better point in time of their life. I do so hope for those who continue to cling on to the past. And there's many of those, like a huge sum of people who hate change, despise it, leave it as it is. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, I really hope you do move on. And that has been it from Bigmacmeal. I'll do the clan on Roblox. Make sure you join it for Fight Redemption. But we don't talk about that. It's Big Mac now. Big Mac out.
I hope you enjoyed the opinions and thoughts there of the older players. And as for my conclusion and closing, I do believe the platform as a whole has taken a lot of steps forward, but it's also taken a lot of steps backwards. If you were to ask me, what era would I have the most fun playing in, it would probably honestly be this 2012 and 2015 era. It's not to say that I don't think modern Roblox is good. It is good. It's just, I do believe that this 2012 to 2015 had a lot more better features, and the company as a whole was a lot more friendlier, as you can see by this stuff here. It's obvious that they listened more, but that's an opinion. Some people might disagree, that's fine. But it was a more friendly atmosphere back then. At least in terms of the company. The community, no. I already discussed that. The community was bad back then. Maybe a little worse nowadays, so maybe a little better back then. But whatever. I still have fun playing. I wouldn't be playing, obviously, the game still if I didn't have fun. But I do believe they should take features from this middle era and bring them forward. Obviously, they'll never do that, but whatever. I guess I'll just have to see where the company goes going into the future. If they keep following this stupid metaverse thing with the trend towards the realism, it's not very good. So, 5 years from now, God knows what the website will be like in the game, but hopefully they understand that the people don't want realism, but that's my hope. They should just stick with the blockiness and keep the realism stuff for the side in terms of the characters. In terms of realism, the materials and lighting, yes, that kind of realism is fine. I'm talking about the avatars here, but I already talked about it earlier, so I won't get into that. My conclusion, as mentioned, new Roblox, it's good. Just so it would have a little bit more fun with the playfulness of the 2012 and 2015 eras. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and post below what you guys think. How do you think the platform is going as it goes slowly into the future? Do you think old Roblox is better, or do you think its new version is better? I hope you all enjoyed this video because we put a lot of work into it, and there's more coming, so stick around. Like old Roblox to new Roblox transitions. I thought that was a cool thing we did at the beginning, so I'd like to do like maybe a 5-minute video of that with old versus new games, just the transition. I think that was really cool, so stick around for that, and I hope you enjoyed. Post below what you guys think, and I won't keep you here any longer. I hope you enjoyed. Fennec out.